Can you promote this pawn? White is winning here, but you must find the best moves, and first off, the reason you cannot promote immediately is of course because your own rook is blocking your pawn, but if you try moving it anywhere, well then black can just capture, and of course you are not going to be promoting here. But there is something interesting that I want to look at, and that is moving your rook specifically to the f8 square. Now, why overdo f8? Well, after black captures your pawn, you can play rook down to f4 check, which is almost checkmate. Unfortunately, just barely, black can run away by going to g5. You can play pawn to h4 check, and they scurry away to h6. However, this does give a very interesting idea, that being, if you can somehow get your pawn to h4 first, covering g5, well then rook to f8 and rook to f4 would actually be checkmate. Now, unfortunately, you can't play h4 right away, because then black can play rook to b2 check, forcing your king down, and then they can take on g3. This is not going very well. However, you can do this by playing pawn to h3 check first. Why? Well, black moved their king only to these two squares, and if they go to f5, well, this doesn't work because now we have rook to f8 check. Black must move their king first, and now we can immediately promote. Black must capture, you capture back. At the end of the day, you are up a rook and completely winning here, meaning the only thing that black can do instead is going up to g5. With this idea, we can now play pawn to h4 check, and now black has 4 options, but 3 of them don't work. If they go to f6 or f5, well then the same idea, we have rook to f8 check, we'll promote on the next move, and if they go instead to h6, well then rook to h8 check, and once again, we're going to promote on the next move, and we are completely winning here. Now, instead, black must go back down to g4, and now that we are covering the g5 square, we can play rook to f8. Black cannot capture our pawn on b7 because then rook to f4 would be checkmate, but black still can put up a fight here by playing rook to b2 check. You're going to want to block that with your own rook, and now instead of capturing on b7, because still rook to f4 would be checkmate here, they can trade. You capture back, and now black is going to promote as well. At the end of the day here, you still need to be careful, because if you play a sloppy move like queen to f4 check in this position, black can run to h3, and somehow they're completely safe here. Black will start getting their own queen to play, and this is actually a drawn position. So instead here, you can play the nice queen to c8 check and mate.